Elon Musk has shared his thoughts about Xbox and Obsidian Entertainment's upcoming first-person fantasy RPG Avowed and its inclusion of pronouns, saying that it is unacceptable, utterly unacceptable is what he had to say. Roll this up over at fandompulse.com. You can find the link in the description below. I encourage you to head on over here, become a subscriber, join our mailing list so you get the best in entertainment news. I also encourage you to become a paid subscriber so you can help support us in our fight against this woke ideology, this woke mind virus that is trying to destroy our society, destroy us as individuals. And we are not going to allow that to happen. We are going to oppose this. We are going to root it out of the video game industry, of Hollywood. We are going to oppose this. So Elon Musk shared his thoughts about Xbox and Obsidian Entertainment's upcoming first-person fantasy RPG Avowed. I can read, featuring pronouns describing it as, quote, utterly unacceptable. It was revealed that developer Obsidian Entertainment, known for Fallout New Vegas, The Outer Worlds, and Pillars of Eternity, will include pronouns after YouTuber Force Gaming shared an early review of the game. While discussing the leveling system, he showed off some of the game's menus where it clearly identifies his character with he, him pronouns. We can look at it right there. You can clearly see it is right there, he, him, in this character menu, which means it is going to be in the character select. They are including this in a fantasy game, having the pronouns, because they are trying to push this nonsense into the real world. Talked about this in a previous video. They are obviously trying to normalize this absolute degeneracy, normalize the gender ideology, normalize transgenderism. That is what this is all about. But so I'm not going to talk about that again. But so our coverage, my coverage of this, got picked up by former World of Warcraft team lead Mark Kern, aka Grum. Shout out to him. And he reacted to it, saying, "I'm drawing a line. I'm rejecting any game that has pronouns in it. And you grammar Nazis know what I mean. Stop being stupid. I don't care if the game is good. A message must be sent. Pronouns promote the woke mind virus, and gamers must send a clear message." That is exactly what I said in my video. And my video didn't even go up till Sunday, even though I recorded it on Saturday. And Grum's basically saying the same thing that I said. So I really appreciate that. Really appreciate him helping lead the charge on this and saying absolutely no, because it does. It does indeed promote the woke mind virus. And we must send a clear message that this is unacceptable. And Elon Musk responded to Grum's. That's right. We are changing the culture here. Elon Musk is reacting to Grum's sharing our article here. And he said this: having pronouns in a fantasy game, in a fantasy video game, is utterly unacceptable, with an angry face. He's absolutely right. It is absolutely, utterly unacceptable. It completely dumps you out of the story. It removes you from the actual game that you're trying to play. It removes you from the immersion. You're trying to get involved in a fantasy RPG, and what are they doing? They're slapping you over the head with pronouns, and it's on the menus, it's in the character select, it's in the game. You're going to be constantly seeing that, and it's trying to condition you to see that here in the real world and get you to buy into all of that absolute nonsense gender ideology, transgenderism that I've talked about. But these comments from Musk are not surprising. Back in September, he reacted to Dragon Quest creator Yuji Horii, accusing American regulations of forcing him and his team to remove male and female in the character select and replace it with Type A and Type B in Dragon Quest III HD 2D Remake. Horii infamously said this: in Dragon Quest, you used to be able to choose between a male and female main character, but now you can't choose between a man and a woman anymore. We have to label them as Type 1 and Type 2. I really wonder who's even complaining about this. No one. The majority of people are not complaining about this. We're complaining about the fact that Type 1 and Type 2 are replacing male and female because they are trying to remove male and female. They're trying to remove the distinctions between male and female. They are promoting this gender ideology through these tiny changes to try and get you to accept it. And we must not accept this stuff. It is evil. Musk reacted to that, writing, "This is insane." It absolutely is. It is absolutely insane. That is a perfect encapsulation of it. And then we also had Musk explaining why he opposes DEI and the woke mind virus, specifically infecting the video game industry in a video in October. Let's just kind of take a listen to this right here.
I was wondering. There's one thing actually that would be a fun thing to do would be to start a gaming studio. So I do actually intrinsically love video games. And I think actually if you apply sort of AI to video games, you could really make it to some incredible, make incredible video games. So yeah, I think just generally for content, the problem with like the sort of DEI and the woke mind virus is that it kills the art. It's just like as soon as when you can see something that is forcibly imposed on the story and it's discordant, it destroys the art. And now it's hard to enjoy the story. It kicks you out of the story because you can just feel that you're being lectured.
We're seeing it in movies and TV and all that kind of stuff. It's like, let me just enjoy my video games.
Exactly. I know. Come on, not video games too. All right.
So he's absolutely 100% right. It kicks you out of the story. It kills the art by kicking you out of the story. It removes the immersion. And this is something that J.R. Tolkien talks about in his On Fairy Stories essay. I mean, Musk is basically realizing what Tolkien wrote about and spoke about in his On Fairy Stories essay. If you haven't read this, I 100% recommend it. I think it is absolutely fantastic. I think it applies to not just fairy stories, but I think it does apply to lots of fiction. I think it applies to different mediums as well. Obviously, he's writing about literature. I think it does apply to video games. I think it applies to movies, and I think it applies to television too. But this is what Tolkien said. He detailed that a story maker has proven a successful sub-creator when he makes a secondary world which your mind can enter. Inside it, what he relates is true. It accords with the laws of that world. You therefore believe it while you are, as it were, inside. However, Tolkien added this: the moment disbelief arises, the spell is broken. The magic, or rather art, has failed. You are then out in the primary world again, looking at the little abortive secondary world from outside. And that's exactly what the inclusion of pronouns and woke ideology does to these games. It literally breaks the spell. It breaks the magic. The art has now failed. It kills the art because it brings in that disbelief, because you're no longer living in that fantasy world now. They are injecting this evil ideology into that fantasy world and trying to get you to accept it. And so you're like, absolutely not. What's going on here? This doesn't make any sense anymore. And he's 100% right about this. Elon Musk, 100% right about this. Nevertheless, Tolkien continues saying, if you are obliged by kindliness or circumstance to say, then disbelief must be suspended or stifled. Otherwise, listening and looking would become intolerable. And I think this is 100% true. It has absolutely become intolerable. I can't play any of these games anymore. They're absolutely intolerable for me. I just completely and utterly reject it. I have better things to do. There are games that don't have it where I can actually immerse myself into the world. But this suspension of disbelief is a substitute for the genuine thing. A subterfuge we use when condescending to games or make-believe, or when trying more or less willingly to find what virtue we can in the work of an art that has for us failed. So in order to try and get over this failure of the art, we have to suspend our disbelief, and you have to force it. It's a subterfuge we use when condescending to games or make-believe. So Elon Musk taking a stand, really appreciate what he's doing here. Absolutely saying no to these games. And I agree with 100% with Grums as well. We must say no to this stuff. We must put a line in the sand. Enough is enough. Let's get back to not having these pronouns, not having this evil gender ideology being included in our games. And let's get back to actually identifying the characters as male and female in the character select. So they're not erasing those differences to try and push that evil ideology. But let me know what you guys make of what Elon Musk had to say here. Let me know in the comments below. Remember to always be charitable, especially to each other, and to always, always speak the truth.